Right, I'm recording. So I'm just getting ready for the, oh, that's the one, groups. Making maths fun. And when that comes up on there, I'll start the watch party and proceed from there. The challenges that coming up, it just flopped, flipped, flopped.
You just had to start it, not share. So go back, come out of here.
No, start a watch party.
Yeah, you could have started it right there.
I never saw that. Okay, well, I've got it here. I looked for that and didn't see it. So, oh dear, I better mute that.
Watch party.
Also help
Yeah, you could have started
hear
it right
everything I say twice. Okay, right, we're ready. We're going. We're off. So the first thing we're going to do is something that many people have already done on many occasions. Now, all of these resources I'm using to get to them today are on the Aiming High website. So you can either use them just as purely games, or you can either do the maths or ask the questions now, do them as purely games, or come back to them another time and do more of the maths activities. They've all got a follow-up resource for parents to help with. My brain just went. Right, now, so the basic one here, and you don't need scissors, you can just use hands to, and this is a good one for young people as well, to, instead of drawing, you're cutting out, you're visualizing a doll, a figure. You can make a doggy. Actually, I'm going to make something super simple. I'm going to make a ladybird. Why not? There we go. Or a snail. Could be a ladybird. Could be a snail. But wait a minute. I'm going to open it out. Oh my goodness. What have we got now? What have we got now? We've got maybe an angel, butterfly. Maybe make the head a bit smaller. And you can make. I'm even going to give it some antennae. Here we go. And we've got a completely symmetrical butterfly. Or you could do the more traditional thing, which is a doll, of course. That's your traditional thing. But since we've already done the butterfly, I'm now going to do, you see how I cut out the dolls, but it's just the traditional thing. And we fold that over there. And can you see what I'm doing? Sorry, I'm going to conceal my head or hide behind it. Hello. Right, so for this one, you really do need scissors. And for this one, oh yes, I remember. My brain just went for a loop. So for this one, we're going to cut out the arms and the head. Using child-friendly scissors will work for littlies. And the arms, or you can get the child to draw the figure if they're young children, and then you help them cut it out so that they're still doing the creating, they're still in control. Now, there's two ways you could do this. Whoops, sorry. There's two ways you could do this. You can actually not cut off the bottom. I haven't actually cut the foot off at the bottom. What do you think is going to happen if these aren't going to be exactly the same because they've come a little bit apart. You can prevent that from happening by putting some pins in. If you can see there, they've separated a bit, so you can prevent that from happening. I'm just going to join them up a bit, but they're not going to be identical, but they're close enough. And now I've cut that arm there. So, whoopsie. I am now going to actually snip off the base of those feet. I would like you to speculate with your young people what would happen if you don't cut off the bottom of those feet, what shape you're going to have. So let's see, we open it up. A lot of us have seen that throughout the course of our lives. And of course, I've got 2 of them because I folded one sheet into 4. I folded it over, sorry, I folded it in half. I folded it like this. And then I folded it in 4. Whoops, for you. Then I folded it in 4. If you could either, you want to have a single sheet, you could either fold one sheet in 4, if you have a larger shape, or you can just cut one sheet in half. But I folded it in those bits. So I wanted to very quickly not demonstrate, I wanted to introduce that question. What would happen if you hadn't cut the bases of the feet off? And I'd encourage you to do this first and then ask what would happen if you don't cut the base of the feet off. So that's now the questions that we're asking around this. I'm just going to show you what's on the sheet. You can do this with this one. You'd fold in 4. So let's take, no, that one's not going to work. Let's take, doing it down underneath where you can see exactly what I'm doing. Hi, Anetta. Hi, Steve. Steve is watching every night. That's okay. Oh, Steve, I've got some news for you. I have finally heard back from Guinness, and they've finally arranged for us to get our certificates. We've got a Guinness World Record, and Steve is on the Guinness World Record team, a team of people that come and help every time. Steve has been on every single attempt. We've finally got the certificates, so hooray! Woo! Not got them, but we know how to get them now. And hello, Russa. Hello, Margaret. Margaret, if I'm saying anything wrong or doing anything, or have you got any ideas to add to this, please make comments. I want everything I say to be correct. If I've said anything wrong or I could say it better or give better ideas, please, Margaret. Don't be shy if you've got the time. I know you might not have the time, but if you do, then your comments, suggestions, input would be hugely valuable. Right, because the objective is to help parents do maths at home. Now, fortunately, it's Easter, so pressure's off, but I still like to be giving you ideas during this time. Now, what did I do this for again? Oh, yes, now I folded it in 4. And so now I'll do it with free hands so that you don't have to use scissors. I have no idea what snowflake. I'm kind of aiming for a very rough snowflake, I think. It's going back to the worst snowflake in the world. You can take a lot more time about it. The point is you can just tear paper. And then let me see, I'm going to maybe make a little hole. I don't know if you could even see what I was doing just then. Make a little hole there. Maybe rip the corner off and make another little, oh, this is hard. A little bit off there as well. And then open it out and see what symmetries we have. So now we didn't start off with a square. So if we, and that has not got the same tear as that. So let's look at the rotational symmetries. What you've got is that is the same as that when you open it out. So if you rotate it 180 degrees, then you're looking at exactly the same thing. because they're exactly the same tears vertically. Now horizontally they're different because with that, so that's the same as that, and that's also the same as that. And so they are symmetries, but they're not, certainly not a regular shape. So that isn't the same as that, isn't the same as that. But you're looking for the symmetries. And the nice project you can do over Easter is make shapes and make shapes like this, and then make a collage on a poster or something, and do symmetrical dollies and other creatures. Find out what creatures can you make in a line like that, and what impact do they have. Now the other kind of symmetry is, if you look, you can make basket weaving. And just to cover a few of the, you've got rotational symmetry, you've got mirror symmetry, so you've got, this has got the mirror, and then, well, this has got the mirror symmetry, you've got the line of symmetry there, and that, if you had a mirror in the middle, that would be the same as that. You had that with the original butterfly that we, I don't know what's happened to my butterfly. Well, that's clearly the same. I don't know what it is, it's a blob. But the point is, I think maybe I should become a psychologist and ask you, right, what is the first thing you think of when you look at that blob? Whatever the blob is, it does have a symmetry in the middle. I don't know what happened to my butterfly. And questions you can ask, it's encouraged, children, especially the rotational symmetry occurs a lot in nature. And it doesn't have to be exactly symmetrical, but you can look for things that look symmetrical, and and talk about it, discuss it, take pictures, take photographs of things around the house. If you can't go out, take photographs of things around the house. If you're lucky enough to have a garden, then take photographs of things in gardens. And yeah, there's lots more. Oh, and that's another thing, you've got the letters, which I do have somewhere here. You can, I'm just going to show you on here. So these activities are activities that there'll be a link to them in the comments, and but you can make letters. You can make all the letters of the alphabet and figure out what kind of symmetry do they have. Do they have mirror symmetries? Do they have rotational symmetry? And do they have, so you've got reflection, and then of course you can play with the translations. An F moved over, is it a translation of an F in a different place? This one's nice. You've got the glide reflections, so it's reflected, but it's also moved, so it's translated as well as reflected. Right, so, and then of course you can use your hands. You can use, do we have symmetry? And an interesting exercise is to put a mirror across your face and look, and then see, because your face, most faces aren't very symmetrical. Mine is definitely not. It's quite interesting to see if you can manage to take a picture of yourself with the only half, like if you put your head behind a mirror and then take a picture, you don't look like you. It's weird. It's really weird. But that's a nice little exercise to do. So many things, and there's a lot of ideas in this resource. Go to the link below and that'll give you ideas. Right, here's a game. It's called the 15 game. And all right, you don't actually need a board. All you need is, well, if you can make 9 counters, 1 to 9, or you can print one of these out. Again, the PDF is in the resource that's in the link below, but will be in the link below when it gets saved up. I'll put it all on. Let me see who else we've got here. Oh, Steve Benton likes it. Oh, hi, Barbs. Good to see you. Right, so the game is this. In its form in the resource, it's the 15 game. And the idea is you've got 9 numbers, 2 players or 2 teams, and you take it in turns to choose 3 numbers that make up to 15. So let's say team 1 chooses 4, team 2 chooses 7, team 3, whoopsie, team 3 chooses 2. So now they've got 2 and 4. Okay, what do we then need to make it 15? Let's see, team 3 now thinks, oh, they wanted to, okay, well, let's just go the easy way. Team 2 chooses 3, and then it has to be 3 numbers, and you only have 1 of each number. So then team 1 will choose 9, and team 2 will choose 5. So that's all right. They've both made 15, but actually the game is not just to make 15, but to prevent the other team from getting 15. So if the first team chooses 7, let's say, what numbers would the other team choose in order to achieve 2 things? One is that they want to be able to make 15, but the other is they want to stop team 1 from making 15. Not as simple as it sounds. Now, you can have competitions and a few pointers here. Write down all the numbers. Get everybody to write down play it a few times, and then when you realize, oh, wait a minute, this might be harder than I thought, write down all the numbers that you think can make using 3 numbers from 1 to 9, single digit numbers that will add up to 15. And then interesting questions: is it an advantage to go first, or is it an advantage to go second? And remember, you can't use 2 numbers, you can't use 4 numbers, it's only 3 numbers. And have you ever seen anything like this game before? Is it possible to have a stalemate? And if you write down all combinations using 3 numbers to make up 15, how can you be sure that you found all of the combinations? And here are some other questions that go on here. I'm reading this. So which numbers appear in 2 of the combinations, which numbers appear in 3 of the combinations, which numbers appear in 4 of the combinations? These are all lovely mathematical questions, which if you just want to play the game, just play the game. But if you want to do investigations and you find that your family is actually getting interested in investigations, then guess what? You're doing mathematics. You don't have to say it until afterwards. Say, you know what we did, guys? We did mathematics. And being systematic, finding all the combinations is one of the really important skills that you need to achieve it. Now, it also says make up a number game of your own. And the other thing you can do is, if you've got younger learners, only go up to 10 using 2 numbers. So one of the very important things you want in order to get agility in numbers and get number sense, one of the really important skills is to number bond up to different numbers. So 15 is a useful number, 20 is another useful number. And the good thing about 15 is you can number bond with all numbers 1 to, that's not true. Which numbers, sorry, let me start again. You can number bond to 15 using just two single digit numbers. There are several of them. You can work out which ones those are. That's a different game. So using 2 numbers, how many different ways are there of making 15? Thank you. That's what I meant to say. And then up to 10 with younger learners. And so, okay, I've got 4 and 7. Will that make 10? Oh, 3 and 7, that will make 10. How many different ways are there of coming up to 10? And write them all out. I had my my grandson, who was 6 by then, and he just, I was using some rods that are all different sizes, and even if I'd used numbers, he would have still engaged with it. And he just literally didn't write it out, but used manipulatives to find all the different ways he could make 10, and he loved it. It was great. So that's that game again. Resource in the comments below after we've saved the live. It'll be on later tonight. Oh, is this the one I was missing? No, this is the last one we're going to do tonight. I've got plenty more on other days. This doesn't sound very much fun. I think we might have to change the name of it. The Factors and Multiples game. We definitely need a different name for that, so that you're not telling your children, let's play the Factors and Multiples game, and they're like, I don't think so. And rightly so. So what would we call this? We could call this the Greatest Showman, the Greatest Sequence, the Sequence. I don't know. I've got to find a good name for it. You know, please put on the comments. If you play the game and you like it, please do put on the comments a good name for the game. A good name for the game. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. So with this one, what you're doing is you're using factors and multiples, but you don't have to say that. So to start off with, just to make life simple, depending on the age of your learners, if we're good up to 100, then play with the 100. Just to let you know here and now, we've also got, and that's all in the resource. Oh, here we go. We've got 10 by 10 grid. We've got an 8 by 8 grid if you've got slightly younger learners who are more comfortable with the smaller numbers, slightly smaller numbers. But we've also got a 4 by 4 grid, which is good up to 5-6-year-olds. And then we've also got, for the Litly, oh, nothing. We've got a blankness of nothing, nothingness of blank. Oh, here we go. 3 by 3, so they're all squares, and this is a 3 by 3. So for Litlys, I'm just going to I'll start with the Litlys and then work our way up. For the Litlys, you can just put a colour down, and then whoops, each person has to play. Now this is perfectly valid for a grown-up to play with a Litly because you're guiding them. So you put the right. I'm starting with a 4. Now our next token, if we're going up, we're going to put down a yellow. If we're going down, we're going to put down a blue. So when you're going up in numbers, you're going to put one number down. If you're going to go down in numbers, you're going to put a number up. Now, down is blue, up is yellow. I don't know what I just said. So we're going to say, whoopsie, oh dearie, dearie, dear. We're going to start with 3. I'm just inventing a game as we're going. So put a thing there. So are we going to go up or down? Are we going to go one more or one less? And so they might say one more. So which one is it? And if they need to count, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is one more. So where is 5? Find 5. Put it on the 5. And then if it was one less, then it's the one before 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which number's before 4? Or you can do it the other way. If once they started counting down 4, 3, just take one away. We have 4, and you can actually demonstrate it. I'm not going to do specific colours here, but you can demonstrate. We've got 4. We take 1 away. How many have we got? So 1 less than 4. We take 1 away. We have 1 less than 4, and that's how I'm showing you, but you would do it on a piece of paper nice and clearly. So that's, again, you can play with the very young children, and then if you can't go 1 less because you've run out, you've got to go more, then you can just count up. Okay, well, we've only got space at 6 or 7. Oh, what are we going to do? We're at 1, so you can count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many do we need to move, and what number do we get to? All of that, just count up and down. If you need help with that, let me know, and I might do another separate video on that for parents of young children. So with the 2s, with the slightly older children, with the 16, 4 by 4, you can do multiples. So you can say, oh, what's double 2, what would that be? Or if it's half of 10, what would that be? You can do it that way. So you don't have to be adding and subtracting, you could be grouping. So you can be doubling and halving. So this could just be working for doubling and halving. And then we're just going to go to the 100 now. So the idea with the 100 grid is you start with a number. You can use pens as well, print them out or write them out, draw them out, get the kids to draw out 100 grid. Now notice the 100 grid goes 1 to 10 and then 11 to 20. It goes back and forth. It's not like snakes and ladders where it goes left and right. It goes, the smallest number is always on the left hand. So we can start with any number even number. The first instruction is even number. You can go get creative after that. So an even number that's less than 50 to 36. So we can either get a number that divides as a whole, so it's a factor. And so what numbers multiplied together make 36 basically. And so, okay, we could say, keep it simple, we could say 12. And now you want to write these down. You're going to write it down. So we start with 36. The next one's 12. And now you're going to go up. Now, again, you can actually, when you go down, you use one color. Let me just model that. When you go down, you're using one color. When you go up, you're using another color. So what can you do with 12? Well, multiples of 12. Let's go a bit mad. Let's go with 8 12s. Work out 8 12s. 96. I hope I'm right there. 80 plus 16, yeah, 96. And then is there a multiple of 96 that we can go to on this 100 grid? No, so the only way we got to go is, I haven't written these down. So write that down, 96, and then the next one, we have got to go down, so we've got to work out a factor. So we can be using those words now, but we're not going to call the game that, but we can use the word of, now we're going to get a factor, so a number that multiplies with another number to get that number. So let's go a factor of 96. Well, 12 eighths are 96, so we can make it simple. We can now say 8. And so that goes in there. Now, so that is just good practice. It's a fun way of practicing, but the way to engage in the game is, what we want to do is find the longest possible sequence without getting stuck. According to these rules, the first person that gets stuck, it loses. You don't have to lose or win. There's arguments on whether or not we should be losing or winning. There's a lot of resilience that's built out of being a good loser, basically, and learning and moving on. But one of the lovely challenges is what is before you even work it out, just play the game and see what the longest sequence you can make, and just as a family, just be challenge yourselves. Okay, let's play that game. Let's see if we can make a longer sequence. And then the other thing is to here's a question on here, and this is again there's a resource on the Aiming High website, and that the link will be down below. Is it possible to get a chain of 74? Now that's a challenge. And can you find a chain of 74 or even longer? Which kind of implies that you're really looking for a long chain there. It's kind of giving you a bit of a clue there. So maybe you wouldn't see that idea until you've got to quite large numbers, long sequence, and then say, well, you know what, we might not have found the longest. Let's have a look. And then bring out the resource and look at it. This is a great way to really get some fluency with factors and multiples and get that number sense, which is really important to get that solidly for later, for when they move on to secondary school or later in life. And if your learner is in secondary school and hasn't got these fundamentals in place, play the game, practice. It's like reading. The more you read, the better you get. The more you do play games with numbers, the better you'll get. So that's half an hour. That's 3 games we've played. I've got lots of other things here that I had out just in case I went too soon. I haven't even looked at what's been said. I've got my cousin Rod, Andrew Davis, thank you. Salvo, my brother Stephen, Terry, hi T, Stephen, hi Alina, hi Barbs. I said hello to Barbs earlier. And then have we got any, oops, it's gonna, oh, Tony. Oh, Tony's on. Tony's written all these resources. I hope she's actually still looking. Tony is my hero. Tony has written all these resources. She's the most extraordinary woman. First of all, she set up a website when she was working at Cambridge University, which is the Enrich website, which I'll also put a link to. And now she is writing all these amazing resources for teachers in Africa as part of their professional development and resources for them. And we're also using those to help teachers during this time, to help parents with maths at home during this challenging time. And this is just going to stay on. So this is going to be a resource that's available ad infinitum. I'm just having a look, see what else is. Oh, I can't. Oh, this is I've got 3 devices going here. Oh, Yvette. Oh, yes, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you. And Tony is the only other comment. So yeah, well, it's not a new record, Tony. It's not a new record. It's the certificates for the records we've got. So yes, Tony, you will get a certificate. Finally, it's 5 years ago that we got the record. And it's taken all this time because of the way we did it. It was done at the office, and we broke their system. They weren't able to get us the certificates. So thank you for joining us. Please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's a link below. We've got the Bubbly Maths YouTube channel and the Maths Toys YouTube channel. The Maths Toys YouTube channel, I've been tasked with getting videos for all of these resources on the Maths Toys YouTube channel, although Tony's already done some, thank goodness. and on the Bubbly Maths, these lives will appear on the Bubbly Maths YouTube channel. And then we've also got that, well, please encourage other people to join this group. If you know anybody in Australia, Asia, Japan, India, I've now been asked to do these lives in the morning as well, so that the people in the further east can, or further west, depending which way you look at it, I suppose further east, can avail themselves of these of help with doing maths at home. So thank you for joining. See you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And so that's 8 o'clock every night. This is London time. So no matter where I am in the world, the lives will be on at the same time. So that's 8 o'clock London time and 9 a.m. London time. Please join us and please tell other people about it. Invite other people to the group. And please do ask questions. Please do make requests. We need to know what you need to best provide you with the lives, the videos, the help that you need. And the only way we really know that is if you tell us. Thank you and see you tomorrow.